Assalamualaikum to Dr. Asri bin Saleh. Our group will like to present on the topic about ASEAN Charter. For introduction, the ASEAN Charter serves as a firm foundation in achieving the ASEAN community by providing legal status and institutional framework for ASEAN. It also codifies ASEAN norms, rules and values, set a clear target for ASEAN, and present accountability and compliance. The ASEAN Charter entered into the force on 15 December 2008. A gathering of the ASEAN foreign ministers was held at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta to make historical occasion for ASEAN. The ASEAN Charter has become a legal binding agreement among the 10 ASEAN member states. It will also be registered with the Secretariat of the Nation pursuant to Article 102, Paragraph 1 of the Charter of the Nation. The importance of the ASEAN Charter can be seen in the following contexts, such as new political commitment at the top level, new and enhanced commitment, new legal framework, legal personality, new ASEAN bodies, two new openly recruit DSG, more ASEAN meetings, more roles of ASEAN foreign ministers, new and enhanced role the the Secretary General of ASEAN, and other new initiatives and change.
Hi everyone, my name is Clay. Today I will present Asian Charter factors, issues or problem. The first point is diversity in terms of religion, language, ethnicity and culture. It includes government structures, different interpretation of human rights means, and what is a proper relationship between individuals and the states. Second one, factors is implementation of agreements reached still at maximum level. This means that only 30% commitment made among Asian members that was ever implemented. This was based on a survey and no central mechanism to enforce the compliance. As a result, no properly functioning dispute settlement mechanism in economic and political terms. Also, due to that, the rate of compliance have to improve, otherwise Asian meetings and resolution will increasingly not be justifiable. The third factors, great attention paid to small and medium-sized enterprise. It is more focused on small-scale farmers and entrepreneurs. To succeed, Asian economic community should provide more information and technical assistance to them. The fourth factors, more connectivity between the AEC and the other two pillars. The other two pillars is political security community and social cultural community. Although economic community, but still unable to sustain without a strong political security framework and a robust social cultural underpinning. And then the lack of sense of ownership of Asian among our population. Most Asian citizens do not identify themselves as an Asian. Unlike the European Union, they identify themselves as Europeans rather than their national identities. People in Asian region also do not participate in the decision-making process, and they still regard the decision making is a forum for policymakers and bureaucrats. Asian Asian region also does not have common foreign policy, does not have common economic policy, nor doesn't have common security policy. This is due to the history of the association and diversified political culture among its members countries. And then next, lack of common policy. Usually in Asian region there are no such principle as Asian affairs come first. No shared feeling as Asian people in politics and security. Policymakers seek independence over interdependence. It also lack of enforced policy. You can see the non-rigid within the organization in Asian region. And then the next factor is knowledge about each other, not enough among Asian countries. How to say, most of us, not only in Asian but the whole wide world, know who is the name of the US president, rather than in our own Asian region we doesn't know who is the Vietnam president, who is the Myanmar president, and other countries in Asian region, because international mass media based outside the region continues to be our main source of information, not only about the world but about one another. So in effort to do this, making more schools to add more knowledge about other Asian state must be implemented by giving more space and coverage in local media. So the last factors, continued tension between rule-based community. This approach to create level of comfort within the grouping has allowed driven cooperation and collaboration. The Asian ways proclaim the importance of mutual respect, non-intervention in neighbors' domestic affairs, and freedom from external interference can be double-edged sword. That's all from my presentation. Thank you.
I will present about the parties involved in the ASEAN Charter. Okay, there are 10 countries involved. Firstly is Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Laos, Indonesia, Cambodia, Brunei, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Philippines. ASEAN Regional Forum members. These countries foster constructive dialogue and consultations on political and security issues on common interests and concerns, and they make significant contribution toward confidence building and preventive diplomacy in the ASEAN Pacific regions. Admissions of new members of ASEAN Charter. The procedure for applications and admissions in ASEAN should be prescribed by the ASEAN Coordinating Council. Admission should be based on the following criteria: location in the recognized geographical regions of Southeast Asia, recognition by the ASEAN member state, agreement to be bound and to abide by the Charter, ability and willingness to carry out the obligations of member. Admission should be decided by consensus by the ASEAN Summit upon the recommendations of the ASEAN Coordinating Council, and application stage should be admitted to ASEAN upon signing an instrument of accession to the Charter. Okay, there are 4 pillars of the ASEAN Economic Community. First is single market and production-based competitive economic regions, integration in globalized economy, equitable economic development. There are Advantage and disadvantage of ASEAN Charter. Okay, first of all, we look about advantages. Firstly is eliminations of tariff between members, more access to goods, easier travel between regions, more job opportunity, greater political independence in regions, while the disadvantage of ASEAN Charter are reduced tariff have negatively importance for Asian countries such as Thailand agriculture sector due to the greater number of imported agricultural goods. Second disadvantage are face the criticisms for not protecting small and medium enterprise and for being reluctant to promote human rights and democracy.
For recommendation, first is foster a common voice among Asian leaders. ASEAN will benefit if it can be developed the necessary foundation for more consistent articulation of shared view and develop an Asian common voice. The develop the, to develop a common understanding and approach to the matter of regional concern, it is important to make the decision among Asian ministers more focused, effective, and to be candid when need be. Sessions are already held among the ASEAN leaders, foreign ministers, and other key officials and policymakers. Closed-door dialogue have served to increase in understanding and trust. They can become more candid and focus on the ASEAN common voice if made more regular and be allotted more time. Secondly, to develop dispute settlement mechanism. Having a more robust dispute settlement mechanism to serve economic and trade dispute is not without some challenge, but we expect higher chance for success in this area and by taking an incremental approach from what already exists. The notion of using sanctions and for handling dispute, political and security issues may be further ambitions for ASEAN but will be controversial at the present. For the conclusion, the ASEAN Charter creates a framework within which ASEAN member states can enter into substantive agreement on specific areas such as economic integration, environmental protection and climate change, equitable development, transnational crime and security. ASEAN Charter will the nation and residents of ASEAN member states in many aspects of their life. While the effect may be indirect, they will nevertheless be tangible and profound.